Yeah, peace, y'all. Grand Rising, peace. I've been thinking about things. Uh, you when you go through a transformation, but you reflect on being used. You reflect on those that you had in your circle in the past. This is a part of your shadow work. You look back at those that went left field. You look back at what you could have done better, what you have done to others, and you try to figure out what could I have done better. How could I have humbled myself? How could I've how could I've did better to make things work for others so others won't feel neglected? Or you might even look at yourself like, what did I do wrong? What could I have done to make things better, not just for self, but for others around me? See, when it comes down to it, I watch multiple videos from different content creators. I watch and observe and listen from different topics. One of the things that we as star children, as those that are misunderstood, those star children are misunderstood, the healers, those that really want to see a world as a better place. We get attacked from so many different angles. We channel and listen to the highest levels of spiritual consciousness that we go through many different transgressions in life. You listen and you observe and watch. You try to be there for others when they think that you're criticizing and you're not. You're actually like giving them what they ask you for, which is your opinion. I came to realize silence is golden. People might want or proclaim that they want advice or say they want advice, but they really don't want advice. They just want somebody to listen to them. To all the star children that tried to help out others and you got stabbed in the back, those star children who come to grips and realize that you need healing yourself because you done took on so many different people energies from the past that you caused a discrepancy between you and those that are around you now in your present day. You come to realization that when you do things, when you come to grips with who you really are and what you have to do, it says a lot. Now, this particular time period that we're talking about is talking about when you're being you or when you being used. I came to these YouTube per se streets, per let's just say that. And my job was to try to reach out to all the spiritual enlightened and spiritual inclined individuals, male men and women. To me, it didn't matter. It was for our people. It was for those that look like us, melanated. But at the same time, I was also reaching out those that are not melanated, that actually was melanated in the past life, and they know who we really are. Um, and so on. My job was to try to reach out to all of the people to let them know what's going on across the globe, spiritually, as much as I've seen it, and came to me and talking to others, and we sit down and have roundtable discussions. What came about is that those that yours truly was around during the time were really abusive. And a chart, my natal chart spoke on, I have a lot of hidden enemies, which is funny. And those that I became friends with, associates, or whatever you want to call them during that time, except for a few, except for a few, were hidden enemies the whole time. They wanted to study yours truly. They wanted to read and understand how yours truly move and think and strategize, and how they how yours truly maneuver. And at the end of it all, was used and abused. But I want to reach out to those that did that. I don't hate you. I don't dislike you. What I realize is that true love comes from within. And for the record, I don't mind being by myself. But however, I don't like being used by people. I don't like some people criticizing and thinking one thing and they're not. It's not true. In my natal chart, it spoke on being misunderstood. It spoke on people not understanding. It spoke on how we go through a lot of miscommunications in our lives. And that's not fair, to be exact, because those that are like yours truly, we who are star seeds, we try our best to understand everything. Um, what happens when you go through that? You go through a lot of changes when you were being used. You realize that those around you were destroying your whole entire character, and then during that time, you've been getting warning shots, and then you ignore the warning shots or you ignore the warning signs. You have the tendency of still trying to ignore because you want to help. I really want everybody to look at the nine characteristics between an empath, okay, and those that are hurt people. Many of us start season have tried to help people all across walks of life that we came encounters with. Some of us try to be life coaches and not certified. I can admit I'm one of them, not certified. And I took on everybody else's problems and everybody else's energies, came upon yours truly. And now it's like you can feel the toxicity of others. Hurt people hurt people. And what I've learned through the years, when you're being used, it's not a great feeling. I want to also let everybody know that will watch later. It don't matter what you do. You're always going to be hated upon those that you were cool if they were your associates that used you during a time when you thought that you had friends, when you thought that you had uh, associates, peers. I look back at everything that I did when I was on other platforms, and I look back and the stuff that was being built. And do I regret anything? Yeah, I regret that the people didn't get the help. I regret that a lot of our people, I regret that a lot of our people did not get the help, and that through all of the warring energies, egos, things could have been accomplished better. And I miss helping out our people. And what is going on, our people are not really waking up like they're supposed to because we're still focusing on unnecessary things. And what we're realizing what the unnecessary things are, we're still stuck in the 3D reality. The 3D reality is what we're stuck on. When you're being used on things, there's in your past, even in your present. I talk to the star children that feel that there's nothing that they can do to help out others when they got to help out themselves and change themselves and evolve. When it come down to it, you, beloved ones, have a lot to grow because of the love that you have, the love and light that you have. They have the tendency, those that were around you during the time, they have the tendency of doing things to you. You got to remember those people that you were around during a time period, they what you call they were the snakes in the grass. You have to grow. Forgive them and forgive yourself. So those in the past that I have hurt and that have hurt yours truly, I forgive myself. I forgive you. I forgive myself and I forgive you. This is a part of the heart chakra, y'all. We have until next year to keep on focusing on the heart chakra. When you have a lot of anger in your heart, that's called toxicity. When you have a lot of hate in your vessel, that's toxicity. When you're blaming others for your shortcoming, that's toxicity. When you point the fingers all the time, that's toxicity. When you constantly belittle others, point fingers all the time instead of looking at yourself, that's toxicity. When you don't live on working on changes, evolving, doing your shadow work, that is toxicity. You can easily be inhabited by entities, fallen entities that can possess your body. And how that can all happen by helping, by not helping self, but helping so many different others, and it's draining to your energy, where your energy depletes, and it opens up doors or open up a portal for something to inhabit your vessel. You have to be mentally strong to take the criticism. You have to be mentally strong to take the belligerence of others, the belittling of others to you. You have to realize that you must be doing something right for someone or someone's to constantly attack you, because of the simple fact is, beloveds, you were made for greatness. All your trying times, all of your struggles that you probably go through now and here on, it came from what? It came from helping out others, and then you're realizing that you have to evolve. You have to shut yourself out and heal yourself. Look back, reflect. What did I do wrong? Why was I used by so many? Because during that time, you were that beacon of light for those that did not have a path. See, when being used by others, you thinking that, hey, I have a crew, or I have those that I can call brothers or sisters. And you got to come to grips with that and realize that, hey, reflecting back on the healing, you can say, hey, I was wrong. And you got to go ahead and fight. Fight for what? Fight for your divine right to heal yourself from those wounds. Because at the end of the day, beloveds, you are the one that is misunderstood. And you meant well on your path by helping out others, but you got used in the process and did not realize you were being used, until you do your shadow work, until you look back, until you start reflecting, until you start realizing, like, hold up, the whole time I was being used. It don't have to be finances. It could be your character. It could be the way you communicate with others. It could be the way that you are charismatic and others are drawn to you. It could be your ideas. It could be the way that you think and do things. It could be the way that we analyze things. But you're used, beloveds, because of your talents. Your talents, beloveds, is what someone might be lacking in, and you don't realize that they're lacking in it, and you are using your gifts to help out others that is in that circle that you thought was your circle in your life, and then you start realizing that they really were using you for who you are. And then those same groups of people come back and stab you in the back, and then they talk about you amongst each other. They were your hidden enemies the whole time. See, when you go through transformations, when you go through going through the paths of spiritual consciousness and enlightenment, it's a lonely path. Beloveds, it really is a lonely path. I've been going through this path since I was a teenager. I lost and hurt many people and hurt myself in the process because I didn't know any better. During the time I was a teenager, during the time I was a younger, going into adulthood, I stayed to myself because during the time I was going through so much transgressions, so many transformations, so many, how can I put it? going through so many trials and errors. When I went through the DNA explosions that I started having, I couldn't turn to anybody. But when I started turning to people, that's when I started coming up short on trust. Because when I would see the person's real being, I would have to step back. But I will tell you this, some of us are blinded because we want to help out people so bad, beloveds, that all we can do is help, and all we want to do is help. Oh, that's all we want to do is help, 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 help. Because how the way we were raised and how the way we were brought up. Because the God or goddess within you, you want to help. You want to heal. You want to make the world a better place. But what happens, you get used in the process by those that you thought that you was helping, and then you're not helping them because they saw that in you and they want to take that from you, the gift that you have, and use it for themselves to put them up on a plateau when you are right there behind them, pushing them, motivating them, showing them, demonstrating, letting them know who they are instead of who you are, because you see something within them that is great. You put all of the energy you had about yourself to the side because you feel like you have an engine moving, like you are the person that is pushing that vehicle, pushing, motivating, doing all you can for whomever it may be, because the kindness of your heart, beloveds, just to get it turned around, and you are the bad guy or bad women, bad men, however you are to consider the bad person of the other person's shortcomings. What I realized, when you're being used, you have to go ahead and separate for a little bit, for a while, to heal yourself, because it's draining energy. Because those same people that you helped out, except for a few, not all, but the ones that you saw greatness in, a lot of them, not all of them, because you're being blinded by doing the works of motivating, pushing. You the one that gets scarred. You don't want to get this. You don't want to get this. They try to dismantle you. They try to bring verbal harm to you, defaming your character, doing everything in their power. Let me tell you why. You have a higher calling. That's why that's happening to you. You have a higher calling. By you having a higher calling, you cannot run from your higher calling. It's just telling you that you have evolved, that you did your work, and know your worth. Know your worth. Know who you are. Don't stay stuck and stagnant, because at the end of the day, you know what matters? You. Yours what matters. You are what matters. Enjoy your lifetime. Because I look back, as I get older, all I was doing was helping out others and we're not helping out myself. All I was doing was sacrificing myself to make others happy. Didn't realize I was being used. As I got older and I realized, like, damn, I really didn't do anything but try to help out others instead of helping out myself. I wanted to look out for everybody else except for myself. I wanted to fix everybody except for myself. Why? Because the greatness that you saw in someone or people, and you sacrifice yourself and didn't realize you were being used, and you sacrifice yourself. So you sacrifice, and then you lose yourself. You lose yourself, and then you want to know why everybody's turning on you. It's called using and having divine love for others instead of yourself, when in actuality you should have had love for yourself first and loved yourself first. Then you can probably heal others. You can change the scenery around you. But you got to look into yourself, beloveds. I'm telling you from experience. And then you got to forgive. Forgive those that you hurt. Forgive those that hurt you. Reflect back and realize I will do better. Don't put nobody before you because you got to work on yourself. This shadow work is very important. When you feel like you've been used, you have to put yourself away for a little bit, for a while, however may be. One of the things that you can do is probably go to therapy, go to a life coach, meditation. Hell, you might want to cry sometime. That's good for the soul. It heals the soul too. Being alone is nothing wrong. Some of us star children don't like being alone. We like to be around those that are like us, but we have to be careful because those that we think that are like us are not like us. They're not. They never will be because there's only one of us. There's only one you. There's only one yours truly. There's only one of everybody. That's what makes you unique. And you have people that will prey on you, that will use you for your gifts, that will use you for your kind heart, that will use you for your mind, your body, your soul, everything about your vessel. And when they do, and you get crushed in it all, forgive them and forgive yourself. When you feel like you've been used, forgive them, forgive yourself. That's a part of having unconditional love for self. What everybody need to realize, what you think is what manifests. You can speak things into existence. Words are spells. Words are spells. Don't believe me, look it up. When you wish harm on somebody, you're casting witchcraft on them. You're casting spells on them. Words are weapons. Look at your hip hop artists. Look at your R&B artists. Look at the artists back in the day. Look at the ones now. Look at the messages back in the day when our grandparents were growing up. They had the messages when they talked about love, when they talked about all the words are spells, ladies and gentlemen. Why do you think you have spelling tests or the word, or you have to spell a word? It's a spell. These words have meaning. Using the vibrational tones that you use, it can cause a disturbance to people. You can speak life and you can speak death upon people. Beloveds, we're living in a time that people don't give a damn about you but themselves. And you have to use not just discernment, you have to also open up your heart and see who deserves the love that you have to provide and give and who don't. Think about it. All throughout our community are hurt people, but yet we want to be around our own people. Our people are so mentally and spiritually screwed up, they can't find themselves, beloveds, because they don't know themselves, beloveds. They're stuck in a 3D reality, beloveds. What I'm sharing with you is that when people use you, it is so cringing and messed up to those that are like you that you try to shake your head and try to realize what did you do wrong. And then you go ahead and stay to yourself and you get scared to trust anybody. Do you know why? Because at that moment in time, you were vulnerable. You didn't put your shield up. During the times that I haven't been on here. I done been harassed, attacked verbally, all of the above. I've been mentally, spiritually, emotionally abused. And what I came to grips with is that I forgive them. Those that did it, I forgive them, and I forgive myself because I let you in my vulnerable states. And using the gifts that I possess, I helped and was used in the process. I forgive you all. No problem. No problem. No problem. You got to forgive. You have to forgive all your past traumas. You have to forgive yourself. Forgive the people that hurt you and you hurt them, or they could accuse you for hurting them. Forgive them. Forgive them. I mean, I'm getting a little emotional because I went through that. I went through it. That's why I haven't been on this channel like that. I done seen and been abused, been cyberbullied. I've been through all of that. Nobody didn't know that. Um, I have watched things happen to my family, to my son. I done watched things happen to family members, both mom and father side. This world is not perfect. You have to rise up your vibrations. In order to get to the heart chakra, you have to deal with the root, the solar plexus, the heart. In order to activate the heart, you have to forgive yourself. You have to forgive those that said that you hurt them. You have to forgive and also apologize for those that you hurt and those that hurt you and you hurting yourself. And you have to love yourself more and project that energy out of self-love. Self-love is the key. That's the only way the heart chakra will open up and true love will manifest in front of you. Positive energy will manifest in front of you. I can go on days on everything that's been going on in my personal life, but that's not what YouTube is for. We supposed to use this platform to help our people, not just entertain, but help them out. This is therapeutic for us as content creators because someone needs to hear the messages that we go through. And I guarantee you out there, somebody's going to say thank you. And they probably get emotional and they'll tune in to see what you have to say next. When it comes down to sharing your experiences to the world, that is needed because you don't know who is going through something and need to hear that message. I'm telling you, I'm telling you, it, it's a lot that's going on within us, beloveds, and we are surrounded by so much negative energy, so many negative people, so many people that are surrounding us every day. The true empaths can feel all of that and want it gone away from us. The only way you can push it away from you is forgiving yourself, forgiving them, and loving yourself even more each day. Spend time with yourself. If you have children, spend time with your children. Show love to your children. Kiss them, hold them, hug them, and let them know how much you appreciate them. If you have a significant other, y'all go ahead and go out on a date. Show them the little things that you love about them because they turn into big things. Because they are a reflection of you and you're a reflection of them. I sit here in my home. I walked around yesterday, last few days, just walking around my neighborhood. And it comes a time when you have to let things go. And you might have to release tears. How you doing, Mr. Brown? You have to let go of those tears, man. You gotta let them see what they don't tell us about. I gotta talk to the men in Western society. They try to tell us that men don't cry or should not cry. Are you not a human being? I don't care how spiritual you are. You're still living a human experience. Crying is a part of the experience of being human because it's feeling, it's emotion. They want us to have all this bravado and machismo and all of that. But us men never get the credit where it's due. The men out there that's doing the work, that's taking care of their families, that is actually being healers, spiritual healers, teachers, being guidance counselors, you name it, all these professions. A lot of us are the unsung heroes. Many of us that they're not talking about are single fathers. I know what the titles say on this live, but I got to go into other things too. And I apologize for that because I think this message needs to be heard. I'm going back to the men. You are the unsung heroes, the real men. I'm not talking about this alpha, beta. Fuck all of that. I'm talking about the ones that's out there doing what they got to do. Also, I want to talk about the women out there that are doing the things that they're supposed to be doing, being wives, being mothers, being healers, nurturers, being that woman that you can talk to as a guidance counselor for 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 that, you know? Thank you. Um, you have to realize that, y'all. Those ladies out there that's doing the work, the men that's doing the work, those men that are great husbands, providers, we have our shortcomings, y'all. You're living a human experience. Nobody's perfect. You might hurt people, don't realize you're hurting them. Women, you might hurt men and you don't realize you're hurting them. But we have to forgive ourselves and forgive them. When you're being used, you got to forgive that person. You got to forgive everything that they did and also forgive yourself. Use the forgiving ways that you're using. Put that into the divine love within yourself and start loving yourself more. And I guarantee you, everything around you will change. The people that you're around, the people that you hang around, the people that you socialize with, they will change. If people keep coming at you negatively, forgive them. Turn the other cheek. Trust me. In my past, people will come after me, I will go after them. And what I have learned weeks and weeks prior, forgive them. Forgive them. Because they know not what they're doing. They're only acting on emotions. Energies in motion. Energies in motion. said by Dr. Malachi Z. York L. And they are using energies and emotions because of their ego. What is ego? Easing God out. Once again, said by Dr. Malachi York. You're easing the God out of you. You got to remember that you are a co-creator of your own destiny. And we don't realize that. You know why? Because we are still stuck in a 3D world. Many of us, and I'm telling you, I practice it when I'm preaching. Don't think I'm just preaching to the choir and just saying it and saying, no. These months, these years has been real critical to me, for me. And I'm finding out who I am each day. You know, I've been made mockeries out of. I've been called narcissist. I've been called all of that. I've been called energy vampires on other people's channels. But I'm here to let them know I forgive you. I forgive you. And I forgive myself. I forgive myself for the hurt that I caused you and myself. You know why? Because I claiming and owning to my past mistakes on myself and others by putting others on a pedestal and pushing and becoming a martyr on seeing greatness in people and putting them higher than me. That was what you call divine love because you're sacrificing and you're motivating those before you. When in actuality, you're supposed to motivate yourself before them, then love yourself, then push that energy to them so they can feel the same energy from you, which is that divine love. That's why you have to learn that's why you have to learn to love yourself more. The sacrifice that you have made for others, you already proved yourself to yourself and to them. If they did not catch it, guess what? That's on them. You did your job, you did your purpose. And after you do that, you go ahead somewhere and you heal yourself, you heal yourself. You heal yourself. Meditation. Go do something that you like to do. If you like to be a writer, you like to write poetry, you like to write books, whatever the case may be, whatever your hobby may be, use it as an outlet to heal yourself. Go to a therapist and let them know what you went through. That's what they're there for. I can tell you so many things about self. Those that are healers, they suffer from multitudes of things. You can call it anxiety. You can call it anxiety. You can call it anxiety. You can also call it um um what's the other one? Anxiety. You can say that being a loner because you're scared that you don't want nobody to hurt you anymore. Like that's a part of just being alone and just having time alone is a part of that healing process. Because you don't have time for others and their energy. You gotta focus on yours and heal your energy, heal yourself. Because I can tell you I have anxiety. And also a lot of us have depression. Why? Because we're empathic. Because we can feel the energies of the planet. We can feel nature. We can feel when somebody's going through agonizing pain. Those true empaths can feel others' feelings, pain, sorrows. And you know what it causes us? It causes us to go into a depression. Y'all don't have to believe me. You don't. This day and time is all about healing your heart chakra. You have until the new year, not January, but it starts when? In the spring solstice. So you still have time. Beloved, this is not a joke. The shadow work is real. Being used and doing the shadow work on all the energies that you had around you during the time is real. Because if you don't do that after being used, you know what you got. You know what you're going to have. What's going to happen? You're going to be possessed by your lower self. It's going to open up a gateway for a negative entity to enter your body, and you're going to start hurting people even more and hurting yourself, and don't even realize that you're doing it. And you know what you do? You'll start blaming others when you need to be blaming yourself, because you let yourself go. You let yourself go by helping out others in this time period of thinking that you're helping out so many people, and think that you're getting a friend, or you're getting a colleague, an associate, or whatever, and you're not. Behind closed doors, you're being made a mockery out of. I know it sounds too far-fetched, those that are watching, but understand this. You were always built for greatness, because the divine don't make junk. You are an aspect of the divine living the human experience. Keep that in mind. I don't care what none of these people in these in Judaic Christianity, Islam, I don't care what they're saying. You are a part of the divine living the human experience, both the negative and positive. The thing is, the message that you need to know is that you have to love yourself more and forgive all of those things that you have done and people have done to you. That's how the doors open for you on your journey, because you're going back into loving yourself. Do I enjoy being by myself? Yes, I do. I do. But do I get lonely? Hell yeah, like anybody else do. Do I want to be around people that's like me? Oh, hell yeah. Do I want a party? I'm not a party person, but I like to meet people at gatherings. But I don't stay there long because of all the different energies. I be ready to go. See, when it comes down to this path, you have to know what gatherings to go to and what gatherings not to go to. You have to balance yourself, because in life you have to balance yourself. In order for you to make it through this life, you have to have a balance. You can't overindulge in anything. When you're out with those that were using you the whole time, you have the tendency to overindulge in things because you want to feel like you're accepted, like you belong. I don't care how old you are. Many of us at older ages still want to impress others, still want to show that we belong. Let me tell you something. If you don't belong, you don't belong. But if you feel like you don't belong, then guess what? You put that out in the universe that you don't belong. You know what the universe is going to do? The universe is going to show you that you don't belong. But if you say, I belong here and I don't have to show anybody what I'm capable of doing, and I know my strengths and weaknesses, and I know thyself, and those that don't know me, I do know my thyself, they don't know their own self. So what I have to do as this individual is to project who I am and get the positive results by using the positive aspects of self, by using the love within myself to show those that I love myself, because I am in this vessel and I am myself out there in the public eye, so I can be receptive to all the love, to all of the doors that will open for me to show the love that I have to give with the positive energy that is within me that I am projecting outwardly, if that make any sense. And I know I said a lot, and I know I spoke so fast, but that's why they have YouTube to rewind and go back to what I said. And also, it's a great thing, because that message needed to go out there. And I guarantee you, I'm not going to remember it. That's what you call a download. Downloads come and you don't remember nothing. And there was a message that was sent from the divine to the message to those that are listening, even yours truly. That's why you go back and listen, because even the great Dr. Malachi York, when he was out, he would get downloads, and they would record him speaking, and he was surprised on the things that he would say during the downloads. A lot of you all are people that give out downloads and don't remember. You are messages in human form. You are messengers in human form. Do we know what a messenger is? Beloveds, in traditional in religion, they call that angelic host. But you are a spiritual angelic host living a human experience, though. People say, oh, that's not true. Yes, it is true. You're made out of energy first, but I digress. I don't want to go into all of that right now. The thing is, when you're being used by when you're being used, you're blinded. You're blinded. Blinded by what? By the person that you're trying to help. Like anybody, when you're focused on helping out somebody, you don't look at the pros and cons. You look at just helping out the individuals. Because you, being the person that you are, open hearted, having an open heart, and doing the right thing that you think that you're doing that's correct, you know what happens? You get blinded by that, then you find out later down the line that you were used. And you laugh about it because you know why? You put all that energy to help out that person because you know how it is not to have certain things. You know how it is when you went through that situation and you didn't have nobody there. And all of you know what I'm talking about, beloveds. Y'all know what I'm talking about. Y'all all went through that before. And then you turn around that same person, you might see him again and you might not. But that same person, if you do see him again, they look down on you. Or they try to say that you did them wrong. And you're lost and confused. What did you do wrong? You learned something out of that, that you are being used. Beloveds, it happens to everybody. Many of you done been hurt so many times and you still try to help out people. And you know what? When you get hurt, you start feeling numb. Don't go to that point where you're numb. When you get hurt that first time or that second time, get away. Go somewhere and heal yourself. Trust me. Go to therapy. It sounds crazy. Go to therapy. Get that help. Let somebody hear you out. Because if you go to a complete stranger, they're not gonna help you out. They're gonna give you an honest opinion on how they would handle things. Some people might say, I would just do this to this person. I'll do that to this person. But you need professional help. Life coaches, therapists, meditation, music, positive music, high vibrational music. Classical music is a great music to listen to. Classical music is the great kind of music to listen to. That is the original soul music. That is the original soul music is classical music. Why do you think people that listen to classical music are always on high vibrations? Y'all listen. The greatness is within you. The greatness is within you. Okay? And I want to let y'all know I love y'all divinely. I have to go. Bye bye. Have a good day.